Okay. Now, in 1996, I purchased the McCormick building at 332 South Michigan Avenue. My late partner, Jeff Mikas, and I looked at the opportunity of testing whether or not there was, in fact, a high-end luxury residential market south of Michigan Avenue. 332 is the building to the left. You see the building to the right is 310 South Michigan. My father always wanted to have the whole block. Maybe he thought it was a monopoly. He could charge a quarter for every time someone walked by. I'm not really sure. But I always said, why would you want to have yet another B/C building on South Michigan Avenue? Here, the idea that we had here, originally it's a 20-story building. Originally, we wanted to convert the upper 10 floors to luxury condominiums. Given what the leases were, we're able to convert the top 6 stories to 78 luxury condominiums, leaving the bottom 326,000 square feet of commercial, including the first floor of residential. Similar shot. Now, we went to our long-standing financial relationships here in Chicago, and we had the book, the original building, the original brochure that was put out for the sale of the office building showed the building, the photograph of downtown, where the building was on the bottom right-hand edge of the sheet. It was literally on the corner, the southeast corner, the last remaining office building of the Central Business District. Same thing with their maps. We repackaged the whole thing. We went ahead and talked about a mixed-use concept, residential. We had the idea, the vision of bringing in, creating the whole, introducing residential, and thus creating this concept of Chicago's Central Park, where you can walk down South Michigan Avenue. One building's an office building, the other's a hotel, the other's a condominium, and so forth. We were politely patted on the back, and we were told the deal was too risky, too bold, too visionary, and so forth. Now you got to remember, this is when we had employees who were literally chased down the street when they walked to the train station at 6 o'clock, months like this in November and December when it's dark. It was not a great neighborhood. The sidewalks before the TIF dollars were available were all torn up. People were tripping on the sidewalks. The vaults created a lot of these issues. So it was only 10 years ago, but it really was truly a different world. So there was no cops. There were no cops. It was completely unproven. So we went with Bill Johnson's help here. We went to the New York office of Lehman Brothers, and they provided acquisition and redevelopment financing. Here's another shot of where we are. This is, again, what many of us now recognize as a residential opportunity. Back then, we were the only ones around. There's a model, again, by Larry Okrent, and what you see in the orange was the residential. Airport Park 1 obviously was done. The historic Printers Row was done. The Draper property at 1120 South Michigan was done. 1212 was done, and then, obviously Lakeshore East. That's it. That was it. There was no residential downtown. And this just is the 3 blocks west from Michigan Avenue. Here, very interesting to see, this is 95 on the left. That's Central Station. They were pretty much, when we were trying to get financing, we took our lenders out to the top of 310 South Michigan, looked out the window, and we had nothing to point to in terms of residential other than what I just showed you the map. This is Central Station to the left, as it was, and there's you get an idea of what it was today. Same thing on the left is what it was back then, more or less, and what it is today. They're building 5,500 units in Central Station. Lakeshore East on the other side of the park, which I call the bookend, is another 5,000 units. So that's probably 20,000 people plus, depending on your assumptions. Here's Lakeshore East, same thing, 1997, where we are today. One of the many questions that we were asked Well, first of all, one of the big sales, when we finally did open up, people would come into our sales center, and we had a very nice map that Larry did, and we had to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes with the buyers at the map, showing them where they were in the city of Chicago. Now, we had a very nice sales center we just closed recently. People would just walk by the map, they got it, and they just look out the window at the views. So our first challenge when we got people in the door was not to sell the building, not to sell the product, it was to sell the area, and that was a huge challenge. And I'm sure Rich experienced the same thing at the Heritage. We couldn't even get the top residential brokers to bring their clients across the river to look at our property. We just simply were unsuccessful at that. The Heritage changed all that. Once the Heritage came in, they were able to bring that cachet in, and now there's, I won't name names, but you can walk down the street, you can see them. They're all here now in the South Loop, and we certainly welcome them. One of the questions that we would get were just typical about retail amenities in the area. Here the map shows that this is today, by the way. None of this was here. So people would say, well, what do you do in the city? We said, well, we do the same thing that you guys do. You get your Vogel station wagon and you go down the street, you go to the grocery store, and you bring your groceries home. Here, there wasn't even anything in the nearby. This is all new. So this is a recent development, and again, you can just see the Jewel, Whole Foods, Dominick's. That's again over that Roosevelt Road corridor. I'll wrap it up in a minute, Rich. I'm sorry. Here's what we did at 330. We purchased a 75% occupied office building, 475,000 square feet. We purchased it for less than $30 a foot. Our pro forma with Lehman was we had to hit 145. We hit 180, we thought we were geniuses. I'm now looking, I think it's public housing in terms of the prices. I wouldn't say it's by buyers, but in terms of the prices. So this, again, it was 10 long years ago. It's a whole different era. These are our views. The only thing I can think of why the south views are the same as the light port views is that we probably didn't raise prices fast enough in the south views. The south views at 330 they clear all the buildings to the south. They actually have lovely views of the lake. Here's the markup, the breakup in terms of where the people are coming from. This has changed significantly in terms of out of state. There's much more out of state at our current project at 310. Now, 2004, this is when we decided to open up Metropolitan Tower at 310 South Michigan Avenue. We had the success at 330. Rich's deal was a huge success, and obviously Millennium Park was up and running. Every time the city announced delays, our development team, I told them take a vacation, come back, and we wanted to open up a few months after the grand opening of Millennium Park. So they opened up June, and we opened up September of 2004. We could have opened up 2 years earlier, but we weren't in a hurry. We were obviously had lease rents coming in as well. Here's a nice shot, the proximity. And what once was too bold and too risky and being politely shown the door is now a yarn, it's infill, and we're now worried about developers replacing these buildings. We're concerned about barriers of entry and so forth. So our advertising shows this shot in our ads, front row center. We're now in the center of what's happening here in Chicago. Again, remember back in 1996 when 332 was being sold, it was on the edge of the piece of paper. You almost didn't even see it because it was on the southeast corner of the Central Business District. Here we're centered with Millennium to the north. We're right in front of Buckingham Fountain, and then to the south is Museum Campus. And this has been a tremendously successful ad. This is not the ad itself, but the photo is. And then here you have it again. And then here's our breakup in terms of where these folks are coming from.